Hello everyone, it's Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life. Welcome to 30 days, or the best of 30 days of sketches, and we are on to day 28. Can you believe it? We're so close. Today's sketch is our last one by the fabulous Susanna Lee. It was from just this past series, so series 9. And there was a lot of people that played along with it. It was a fun one. It was a very popular one. My take on it was using some Cocoa Vanilla Studio Legendary Collection with some photos of Jackson when he was about 3.5, maybe 4, climbing on a spinny tall thing. I don't know what you call those things. But he was so excited because he was up at the top and just having a good old time. And so I finally got those documented because, again, photos that I just haven't known how to scrap, and I managed to get that done last series. So that was awesome. And I really loved how that layout turned out with the taking on the idea of where those embellishment cluster is down at the bottom, adding my title there and kind of doing my own thing. So that is my take, and then we're gonna do another share. So let me grab my notes and let's get started. We're gonna start with Suzie. Now I'm gonna butcher your last name and I'm very sorry, but it's Savetsgoski, I think, possibly. Sorry if it's wrong. But you guys, how pretty is this layout? It's a Christmas layout. We all know how much I love a good Christmas layout. But look at the colors. It's just like these non-traditional kind of Christmas colors. And I think it's just so pretty. It's stunning. It definitely, when I was scrolling, caught my eye. And then she was able to use that Vicky Booten chipboard that came from her Winter Wishes collection last year. And she just managed to mix in those hearts and stars together so perfectly. Really, really love that layout. Next up, we have Sharon Price Hutchinson, and hers, I love this idea to give you an idea. That makes sense, Christy. I love how this can spark an idea, hopefully for you, about how she used one background pattern paper, and then did the fun row of embellishments with those houses and the all those Vicky Booten little pieces that are down at the bottom. But she just used the one background paper. So you do not have to cut up your paper, and you can make things work for you. She used a mixed media background to kind of one of those Vicky Booten ones to help tell her story and get the idea across without having to actually go in and do measuring and cutting and stuff. So a really smart idea there. And I hope that inspires you if you were stuck on this sketch at all. And then we have Karen Lay, and she has the same idea, only she used, so it's a Vicky Booten mixed media paper as well, but she used a super long photo of her cat, and look how awesome that is of making the photo rep the sketch, and just making it work for you. But I don't know, there's something about how she was able to have a nod to the sketch but used her photo longer to do that. I loved that idea. I thought it was so clever. And then of course those hearts in that background paper give off that same vibe that the sketch kind of indicates that you should do. Then we have Jennifer Kozar, and I love how she's showing like the perfect example of making your photos fit the sketch, right? So I always say this, if you have your photos, and if they're not exactly like you see in the sketch, it doesn't matter. You place your photos and then you work the sketch around it. And this was just such a great example of that. And she showed us a really neat way to use those 3x4 cards if you struggle with that, because she just lined them up on the right hand side, and it just so inspirational. I saw that and was like, that's genius. Of course. And if you struggle with those 3x4 cards like I do, I sometimes find them hard to use. This is just such an awesome way to do that. So thank you, Jennifer, for that idea. Next up, we have Jessica Michaels, and I had to share hers because it was just so cute. I just love it. It's the perfect fall inspiration. It's non-traditional colors, which I'm kind of into right now, is the non-traditional colors for the theme, the season, whatever it is, and making it work. And I know it's the collection, but I love it. it's just so cute. So I had to throw that one in. Super, super fun. Then next up we have MK, and I had to show this one because you guys, she flipped the sketch. So she like rotated it so it's on its side and then use those fun little pipes in the photo. But it's just a really great example on if your photo is like a horizontal photo versus a vertical photo, just make it work. Again, you make the sketch work for you. So she just flipped it and it was perfect. And I have to be honest with you, it's so funny when we go to document things and we do sketches and we follow them. This is not a sketch I would have thought to flip, but I love it. And now I want to do it flipped. So love that. And then we have Gingerbush, and what I loved is she totally made the sketch her own. But you can still see the elements from the sketch. It's just, I don't know. It's just, she really made this work. And I love that photo up close of her dog. So cute. And the title, The Rough Life, like it's really sweet. But just another example of it doesn't matter if you follow the sketch exactly, take an element from it. It really doesn't matter. The whole point is you get inspired by one little part of it and you run with it. And this is a great example from Ginger on how you can go ahead and do that. And then here is Darla Weber. And you guys, she turned it into a card. I think this is so stinking cute. I love this idea. I'm not a card maker myself, so I definitely don't ever think about doing this. But I love it, and I had to share because I know that we do have some card makers in this group, and this was the perfect sketch for that. Darla, I love your card so much. And then next up, this one, I love rainbows, and I saw this, and JQ Crafty is one of my closer scrappy friends, and I was like, I freaking love this layout. Like, I love it. I was like, made all the caps, like, when I commented on her sketch. I really love how she did this. She took one piece of pattern paper that happens to be a rainbow. You would not have to do the rainbow, but it was there. And then she cut it and then had one solid cardstock underneath, placed it back down with the gaps. And then where the row of elements are, used more rainbows. Like, I love it so much. And that is being scrap lifted down the road when I get a chance to scrap lift all these layouts I want to scrap lift. Love that layout. Next up we have Ellen Taylor. My writing, it gets worse and worse as I make my notes. And it is another example of how you can flip it, and it just is a great way to make the sketch, like I said, work for you, work for your photos if your photos are horizontal versus vertical, or you have multiple, whatever your case may be. This is just a really awesome example of that as well. And so I had to throw one more in there because she made the sketch work for her. And then we have Andrea Geschel, and hers is they're full 4x6 photos. So this is another awesome example because a lot of us tend to just crop our photos down to whatever size the sketch calls for. But I know there are some of us that don't want to touch our photos. We want them 4x6. We don't want them trimmed or anything. Or the photo calls, like there's no reason to trim it. It's too good of a photo to trim it, that sort of thing. And so this is the perfect example of how you can make those sizes that isn't called for in the sketch, but you want to use them, and how you can do that. So I really wanted to share that because it's just a great example and it's so pretty. Look at how pretty that layout is. I love it. And then we've got Brooklyn Rogue, and she has her photos in a line, or she has her photos in line. Sorry, my notes are getting really bad. In line with where the cluster is in the sketch. So she didn't line it up on where the strips are of pattern paper. She just gathered it with where the clusters would be. And I loved that idea. So cute. It's another one that I kind of just want to go back and redo. But seriously, almost every layout I see of other people doing these sketches, I want to go back and redo. Just a really, really neat idea. So I love that one. And then finally today, I'm sharing Janessa Franco. And the reason why I'm sharing this one is it's again the idea of, instead of cutting up a bunch of pieces of pattern paper, she just took a striped, one striped pattern paper, cut it to fit the 12 by 12, and then used that in place of where the strips would be. And I just thought that was so smart. And what a great way to use up a piece of pattern paper that maybe you're like, I don't know how to do this. This is a really busy piece of pattern paper. And so I had to share that because it was super cute and I love it. So you guys, there you go. There are my shares for today. I hope you enjoyed. Please make sure you check out the link down below for the Facebook group and the playlist. And you head on over to Instagram to see who's being featured. And I will be back tomorrow with day 29. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.